For a long time, Naomi believed her life was always one version away from finally feeling complete. One more breakthrough, one more transformation, one more healed version of herself. And then peace would come. That was the promise she kept hearing everywhere. Become better, think higher, align yourself, manifest differently. And eventually, your life will reflect it back to you. At first, it felt hopeful, like she had finally found direction, a way to move out of the heaviness she had been carrying for years. So Naomi began changing everything. She filled notebooks with goals, journal prompts, future visions, morning routines, night routines, affirmations, written carefully across sticky notes, placed around her apartment. I am attracting the life meant for me. I am becoming my highest self. Everything is aligning in my favor. And for a while, those words comforted her. Not because her life changed immediately, but because they gave her the feeling that maybe she was finally moving towards something better. But slowly, without realizing it, manifestation stopped feeling inspiring and started feeling exhausting. Because no matter how much Naomi improved herself, there was always another version of herself she felt pressured to become. More confident, more healed, more disciplined, more positive, more emotional evolved. And every time she fell short of that imagined version, she quietly felt like she was failing her own future. What nobody tells you about constant self-improvement is that it can begin to make rest feel undeserved. Naomi noticed it in small moments first. She couldn't enjoy a quiet evening without thinking she should be doing more, learning more, healing more, becoming more. Even her peaceful moments had started turning into projects. And the worst part was, from the outside, it looked healthy. Everyone praised her growth, her mindset, her discipline. But underneath all of it, Naomi carried a pressure she didn't know how to explain. A pressure that whispered, who you are right now is still not enough. One night, Naomi sat alone at her desk, staring at a vision board she had spent months building. Pictures of future apartments, travel destinations, healthy relationships, confidence, success, peace. She looked at all of it and suddenly realized something that unsettled her deeply. Almost every image represented a future version of herself, not her present one. Not the person currently sitting in the room. Not the version of her that was tired, overthinking, still healing, still uncertain sometimes. It was as if her entire life had become emotionally attached to a person she had not yet become. And quietly, without meaning to, she has started abandoning herself in the present while chasing herself in the future. That realization stayed with her for days because Naomi began noticing how often she postponed her own peace. She would tell herself, "I'll finally feel worthy when I become more confident. I'll finally relax when my life looks different. I'll finally love myself when I fully heal." But every new achievement only created another standard, another expectation, another version to chase. And eventually, Naomi had to ask herself a question she had been avoiding for a very long time. What if the problem isn't that I'm failing to manifest? What if I'm exhausted from believing I must constantly transform in order to deserve peace? That question changed something in her. Not instantly, but deeply. For the first time in years, Naomi stopped trying to fix herself for a while. Not permanently, just long enough to breathe without self-evaluation, without turning every emotion into something to optimize, without analyzing whether she was aligned enough. She stopped consuming endless advice, stopped measuring her worth through progress, stopped asking herself who she needed to become next. And in the silence that followed, she noticed how tired she was, truly. Not physically, emotionally. Tired of living like her value always existed somewhere ahead of her. One evening, Naomi went for a walk without listening to a podcast, without a motivational video playing in the background, without trying to work on herself. And it felt unfamiliar at first, almost uncomfortable. But then something unexpected happened. Her thoughts became quieter. Not because she solved her life, but because she stopped treating every moment like a performance of growth. And standing there beneath the fading evening sky, Naomi realized something she would carry with her for years afterward. Peace was never hiding in the next version of herself. It was waiting in the version she kept overlooking, the present one. That didn't mean Naomi stopped growing. She still had dreams, still had goals, still wanted a beautiful future. But now her growth came from care, not from fear of not being enough. And that changed everything. Because there's a difference between evolving from self-respect and constantly rebuilding yourself because you secretly believe your current self is unworthy. One creates peace. The other creates exhaustion. So if you've been feeling emotionally overwhelmed by constant self-improvement, if you feel like you are always chasing the next version of yourself, this is your reminder that you are allowed to take a break, allowed to exist without constantly correcting yourself, allowed to enjoy your life before you become everything you imagine. Because your worth is not waiting for you in the future. It exists here too, in the unfinished parts, the uncertain parts, the still growing parts. You do not need to become a completely different person before you deserve rest, love, peace, or happiness. And maybe real transformation begins the moment you stop treating yourself like a project that always needs fixing and start treating yourself like someone already worthy of care. Together, let's move from doubt to power, one story at a time.